Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa. This is our reaction to Unai Emery's press conference. Nottingham Forest v Aston Villa tomorrow, 5:30 under the lights. Let's go Villa. Let's keep our winning run going, our last three. So hopefully we can get four. So as the game approaches, getting pretty excited for it, really. I think it's a big game and I think it's one that we should relish and try and go all out and get the victory for. So Unai's been speaking, and because there's a Champions League game on a Tuesday, there's not really much that could happen in between Wednesday to Friday, going into Saturday. So I think the lads have had a training session, they've had a recovery session, and they will train later on today, and we'll go from there with who's ready, who's sharp, who's not, who's perfect, who's good to go. Cheers everyone who's been watching our content. The match preview went down really well. The opposition preview, the same. We've had a lot of Nottingham Forest fans watching and complimenting the channel. So cheers for that. I'll link one of the episodes onto this if you've not already seen it. Villa fans, make sure you are subscribing. Smash the likes and comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. So I think with Villa, it's a bit of rotation, really. Who's 100%, who's not, who's probably needs a bit of a rest and is on the bench, and then who comes in. I think Onana might possibly be utilised. We've got a lot of games coming up as well, so he's been on the bench for the last two games. Does Onana come back in? I think a lot of you are agreeing that Tyrone Mings probably needs to start this one. We've got some news on Rodgers as well, that he's a yellow card away from having a game ban. Personally, he's very, very crucial to the Manchester City game next week. I think I've watched Man City quite a lot recently, and he is perfect for ploughing through that midfield, along with Kamara and Onana. Physical presence, just bulldoze your way through it. So those are important players for me, but we can't look too far ahead. We've got to look ahead to Nottingham Forest, but Rodgers is one away. Carlos will miss the next Champions League game as well. So let's have a little look then at what Emery's been talking about. And the main thing that he's been talking about is Ollie Watkins. We know that he went off at half-time against Leipzig, so he's a doubt. But let's have a little look at what he's been saying. And so he said, we're going to train this afternoon, and after the training session, we are going to decide how the players are. We trained yesterday, but it was a recovery day, and some players rested as well. Today, we are going to try to train and know how we are after 4 matches in a few days. Tomorrow is going to be a very difficult match, and we have to try and play with the best players we have, or the best players who are more or less full of everything: energy, fitness, and good rest. So that's just the situation of playing in the Champions League. It's making sure that players are well rested, that they are fully fit, and they've got loads of energy. And I think Emery's massive on the rest part and the recovery part. And the day that we do rest has to be right for our preparation. And I think that's massive in football at the minute as well. So, yeah, it's just assessing who's there and who's not, and just evaluating whose energy levels are right. And, you know, we've got the best sort of fitness guys. We've got the best data to analyze the players' performances and check the levels of where they are. So I think whoever plays will be fully fit, firing, and ready to go. And that's why I talk about someone like Onana. And, you know, it's not a case of just, Onana in, Kamara out. Onana could play in Tielemans' position. So I think, you know, those two especially have played a lot of games. So those are the two that I would want fully fit, ready to go. If not, then we will have to rotate slightly. This afternoon is the key for how we go tomorrow. And then he's been speaking about Watkins. I don't know. We're waiting. Yesterday, he was recovering. And this afternoon, we are going to training. In case he's training normally, he's feeling good, he's going to be available for tomorrow. If not, not. That's what Emery's basically saying about him. So he's also been speaking about him coming back in pre-season not fit and having to get back to his fitness levels. He's been playing with this small injury. So I think game on game he's probably been assessed, etc. But for me personally, whether Watkins is fit or not, I think I want to see John Duran. I don't think, I know I want to see John Duran start. And that's not just because, I'm not just saying that Watkins is bad and and I don't rate him, etc. And I think he should be dropped. I just think Duran's fully deserving of a start. I think as a football fan, when I see someone doing really well and they are performing to a high level, they are helping the team on and off the ball. I think that's been a big thing about Duran. It's not that just he scores a banger against Bayern Munich and he scores one against Leipzig and I think he's got to play. It's what I'm seeing off the ball now as well. The link-up's better. The mentality's better. The attitude is better. He's willing to be on the bench and accept that. And I think the fact that he's now coming on and performing and not just scoring goals, helping the rest of the team, working hard. That interview that Amazon did was absolutely sensational. The way in which he's switched and he's relishing the challenge with Watkins, he deserves to play. Because for me, what's going to happen is that if Duran doesn't play sufficient games for Villa, he's going to want to leave in the summer. And at this moment in time, you'd have to hold your hands up and say you can't blame him for wanting to go and wanting to play football. So I think I want to see him play minutes. I want to see him have a run of games. And yeah, you might think, oh, that's not fair. And Watkins is the main guy, etc., etc. But I think Duran's deserving to play. So I think while Watkins has got this little niggle or this little injury, then I think it's probably okay at this moment in time to say, you know what, you probably can just sit on the bench. You can come off the bench like what Duran does, impact games that way. And we've got a lot of games coming up between now and the end of the year. They're both going to need to be used as well. But I think for me, I want to see Duran start. And I actually think Duran will suit playing against Nottingham Forest because I think Murillo's strong. You've got Milenkovic that's strong as well. And I think Duran will be able to just get that muscle in there a little bit and just distract Murillo a little bit, drag him out of position, having a run off him. So I think that's something that I think could work for this game. So I think the fact that Watkins is a doubt, I think if he's a doubt anyway, don't risk him. Let's go with Duran and reward Duran for his hard work and how he's working as a team. Because if you're basically saying that I want you to come off the bench, score goals, work hard, but you're still never going to play, that's not a good incentive for the player, is it? We've seen the immaturity of Duran last year and sort of what he was doing. And I think the fact that he's fully on board, he kind of does need to be rewarded, because what message does that send if you're just going to say, nah, you're still on the bench, mate? Like, you got to be, it's just like any job, innit? If you do a good job at work, then you have to be rewarded. You have to have incentives. You have to strive to if you're doing at the highest level, then you've got to be somewhat rewarded, surely. So that's just where I am. You guys, let me know your thoughts. But that's my Duran little conundrum of what I'm feeling as well. So I know last time we did something a little bit different on this episode. We sort of went through some of the fixtures and we had a little look at the fixtures and we sort of ran through them and we were picking some of the games and I was giving my thoughts on what we think was going to happen in those games, a little bit like predictions. So we'll do them for this game week as well. And yeah, we'll see how we go. If you guys want to get involved and do the same. So We've got Arsenal against Everton. That's an Arsenal win, isn't it? I think Arsenal win. I think probably about a 2-0 Arsenal win. It'll be interesting to see how Dicey deals with these Arsenal set pieces. So I think that will be an interesting one to look through in this game of how he sets up. Liverpool at home to Fulham. I think that's going to be a home win, I think. Again, I'd probably say something like a 2-0. We've got a tough game here now. We've got Newcastle against Leicester. So we've got Van Nistelrooy, who's got 4 points from his first 2 games. Newcastle look a little bit off it at the minute. Tough place to go. I'm going to go draw in that one. I'm going to go 1-1. I fancy probably Leicester to score first. Now we've got a big one, and a bit of chaos has unravelled again at Wolves with Gary O'Neill taking the captaincy off Lamina and giving it to Semedo. It's car crash stuff, isn't it? It's absolutely car crash stuff. We saw what had happened at the end of the game when Lamina was just causing chaos, and as the pressure got to him, it's just weird, isn't it? To drop your captain like that. So there's more chaos there. Ipswich, I kind of felt like Southampton were going to beat Wolves at home a couple of weeks ago, and it just didn't happen. Ipswich are a little bit more dangerous. I think they play a better brand of football that can carve them open. I think Delap's playing really well. So I'm going to go Ipswich 2-1. Ipswich to beat Wolves 2-1. And then we've got Forest Villa. I've done a lot of talking about this one. I've sort of had 2 predictions, Head and Heart. Head has been saying 2-2. Heart's saying 2-1 Villa. So we'll go with 2-1 Villa. And then we've got Sunday's games. Brighton against Palace. I think that might be a draw. As well. So we'll go 1-1 in that one. We've got Man City against Man United. I think Emery's gonna do this, I think Man United are going to beat Man City. I think on transition, Man United with Xerxes, with Højlund, with Garnacho can probably pose Man United a lot of problems. And I think Rashford normally does quite good against Man City as well. So I'm going to go 2-1 Man United. So City will be on a loss going into the game for us at the weekend. Chelsea, Brentford. I think Chelsea win that, probably 3-0. I think Brentford aren't great away from home, are they? And Southampton, Spurs. I'm going Southampton. They play good football, Southampton do. And against Spurs, if Southampton play like they did against Liverpool, Southampton will probably win that. So I'm going to go 2-1 Southampton. And then on Monday, we've got Bournemouth, West Ham. And I'm going to go... I'll go 1-1 on that as well. I'd probably edge towards Bournemouth, but I think a draw. I think we'll go a draw on that one. So those are my predictions. And Emery's not really said too much groundbreaking. He's just chatted about Watkins mainly. So Villa fans, smash the likes, comment your thoughts. Up the Villa.